Hi everyone, I'm Vickie with Avante Avenue. Welcome to another one of my candid chats. There's a lot of buzz going on right now on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the place about slow sales on eBay. Well, if you've been selling for any length of time at all, you know that slow sales happen quite frequently, actually. I've been reselling on eBay for well over a decade, and my count goes back to 2004, and at one time I had 4 stores and now I have 2 stores, and I've been around for a while. I may not be one of the high producing $100,000 resellers, but I'm trying to get there. But my point is simply this: every year sales slow down. And every year we come up with reasons. Oh, let's see, it's the holiday, it's after Christmas, it's summertime, it's back to school time. Yes, there are a lot of reasons why sales slow down. In fact, I've had a brick and mortar store in the past, and yes, sales slow down after Christmas, March through August, September, and then they pick up again. But regardless of that, what do we do about it? What can we do? Is there anything we can do to improve our sales on eBay or wherever you sell, Mercari, Poshmark, wherever? Is there something we can do? I have a few ideas for you, things that I do. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is all or nothing. It's just a matter of some things work sometimes, and they work enough for me that I wanted to share them with you. So let's get started. One thing that I've discovered over the years is that the more items I have listed, the more items I can sell. Makes sense, right? Well, I've come across the term fill the pipeline, and I'm going to give a shout out to Scavenger Life, to Jay and Ryan, who I love to follow. They have a podcast. They're on YouTube, has a podcast. And Scavenger Life has shown me, encouraged me by example, that I really do need to fill the pipeline. What does that mean? Of course, it means listing. You hear it all the time. Sales are slow. List more. And it's true. And I tell you, when I slow down on listing, because I get involved in other things like making YouTube videos, my sales slow down too. Couple of things I do about that. One is I do try to have items drafted out so that I can list them when I can get the time to list them, or make the time, I should say, to list them. I do try to list every day, but a lot of times I'm listing many items in one day and I might miss a day or so. Drafts are absolutely wonderful. A draft is a way to get your photos imported, put a basic rough title out there, most importantly, find the correct category, and save it as a draft. And it is sitting there waiting for you to finish it when you have time, when you make time. So fill that pipeline, list and list and list. I've been selling for over a decade. I've said that several times. But what I haven't told you is that I took about 1.5 years off. When we moved from Ohio to Tennessee, which is where I live now, northeastern Tennessee, I took about 1.5 years off for a couple of reasons. One was we were remodeling the house that we live in now. The other reason is I damaged my hands doing the home improvement, and I couldn't use my hands very well. So I took 1.5 years off, and actually was debating whether I was going to go back to eBay. One of the reasons is because before we moved, my sales had slowed. They slowed down to the point where I'm like, why am I doing this? When in actuality, what was happening was I was busy preparing to move and I wasn't listing. I used to sell vintage goods and craft patterns. I did not sell clothing. So when I did start back, which has been a little over 1 year ago, I started back with clothing, and I had never sold clothing before, so I had a big learning curve for that. But overall, what I'm trying to share with you is that it's important to diversify. If you're just selling clothing, you are missing out on potential sales in other categories. Sales in home decor, sales in seasonal, sales in vintage knickknacks. I even still sell craft patterns and things like that, but they're not the money maker for me, so I'm really just liquidating my inventory. But diversifying has become very important to me. And I mentioned Scavenger Life. Well, along with the pipeline, they also talk about just buying anything and everything that they just think is different, unique, something not everybody else has, and they just list it. They just keep feeding inventory into eBay, filling that pipeline, and the sales started coming out the other end. I think they're at over 8,000 listings right now. On eBay, I am under 1,000. I think I'm at 940 right now in the one store and just a few hundred perhaps in the other store. So, I'm working on filling that pipeline, and I encourage you to fill that pipeline. I am positive many of you, just like me, you have inventory sitting around that needs to be listed, and yet you keep spending your time going out and finding more and more inventory. And yet we have listings, we have inventory. And it's important to focus on getting that inventory listed. It can't sell if it's not listed. One of the reasons it's important to list every day is so that we have listings beginning and we have listings ending. I have discovered there's a pattern over all these years, and that is a lot of my items sell when they're newly listed, and a lot of items sell when they're about to end. Now, I know there's a lot of discussion about good till canceled and how we need to end it and relist it. I've tried both. Over the years, I've absolutely tried both methods. I have been on good till canceled for, all of this year. As of this video, it is October of 2019. Good till canceled still shows the buyer when listings are newly listed, and it shows buyers a countdown when it's getting ready to end. So even though it automatically rolls over, good till canceled listings still create, from the buyer's perspective, a new listing or a soon-to-be ending listing. And that's what's important. And so what I'm trying to say here is, if you have ended all of your listings to where they're all starting on the same day or ending on the same day, I don't think that's a very good thing. What I have done in the past, when I was trying to clean up my listings as far as the timing of beginning and ending, I let them roll over, and then I went to about, how you can see, there's a countdown you can see of how many days are left on your listing. You can see how many days are left. And let's say you start in the middle of the month. You've got 15 days left on a listing. You could start there if you'd like. You can start anywhere you want. But I would set up a sort of your active listings of, say, 25 per page. And take those 25, whether you choose to start on the 15th or the 20th or wherever you want to start. But because I said listings sell well when they're newly listed and they're nearing ending, I'm mentioning starting in the middle of the month. I don't know how many listings you have, but if you grab 10, 15, 20, 25 listings, however you want to do it, and you choose to end those, clean up the listing, clean up the title, really take a hard look at your listings, and then relist it on that same day. My point is this: do this every single day. You can start on the first of the month if you want. Do it every single day until you have set yourself up to have listings starting and ending every day. Again, my point is not to have all your listings starting and ending on the same day. You want them to be spaced out. You want listings on starting and ending on the 1st, on the 2nd, on the 3rd, on the 4th. And in between, when you're listing new items, those new listings will fill in the gaps. They'll just keep building that. Instead of 5 listings ending on one day, now you have 5 listings ending and 5 new listings, and when that rolls around, you'll have 10 listings rolling over. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Try to have listings starting and ending every day. So if you are ending all of your listings and restarting them all on the same day, I personally believe that you're hurting yourself, and you might want to rethink how you do that. Just my opinion. As always, do what you wish. I want to clarify when I said relist. I really don't mean end and relist the items. I actually mean end and sell similar. If you're going to relist it, you might as well refresh it and make it look like a brand new listing. To do that, you want to choose sell similar. It will import all of your information. Nothing will change unless you change it. And you can do a group edit with that. You can do a bulk edit. If you have a store, you can, if you have 25 items sorted out, you can choose 25 items and do a bulk edit on these items, or you can do them individually. I'm going to give you a couple of things to think about on how you edit your listings and why it might be good to edit them individually. But again, do sell similar, not just relist. Okay, so let's say you've ended 10 listings and you're going to relist them. No, you're going to sell similar on the same day with those listings. The first thing you want to take a hard look at is your title. And I know you've heard all of this before. Oh yeah, title, great photos. Okay, yes, you've heard it all before. So, okay, yes, you've chosen the category. You have a brand typed into the item specifics. You have the color typed in. So what's important in that title? I would say number one, if you're selling clothing or anything with a brand name, a known brand name, I would put the brand name first. After that, I put the size. So, if it's a Crown and Ivy size large, I put Crown and Ivy L for large. And I would put shirt, blouse. I should show you an example here. I'm going to have separate tutorials on writing titles. But basically, think about the first 5 to 7 words. Get your brand out there first, then the size. Anyone can tell from the photo what color it is, so it doesn't have to be in your first 5 words, but brand and size are important. And you do not have to have the words women or Mrs. or men in the title. The other thing you want to look at when you're reviewing your listing would be your category. I've made mistakes sometimes in my category. Maybe that brand name has its own category within a category, and you don't even know it, and you haven't searched far enough. I often go to sold items and I search out brand names and I'm looking for something similar to what I'm selling. And I click on a few of those to see what category that seller put it in. And perhaps that category is what helped them sell it. And that's where I sometimes identify that I have chosen the wrong category, that there are better categories, or I should say singular category, that I can list in. I only ever list in one category. So check out that, make sure it's correct. And are your photos good? Do you have the best photos? Do you have a really good lead photo, your first photo? Take a look at that. Is there something you can do to improve your photos? After that, make sure your item specifics are filled out. That is how eBay's Cassini search engine works. You have to fill out item specifics. Please do not skip that part. You can skip a lot of things in your description, but do not skip the item specifics. It's very important. I also have some tutorials I'm working on soon that will show you how I list items and how I write the descriptions so that it makes it easier to copy and paste to Mercari and to Poshmark, because I do sell on 3 platforms. Okay, so that covers reviewing your listing before you relist. If you think your listing is fine and nothing needs tweaked, that's great. Then I would just suggest you change the dollar amount. If you're doing a bulk editing, change the dollar amount by a penny. Just change it. Just, do something, tweak something, even if it's just a penny. My next tip is become a better buyer. Okay, so yes, in the beginning of this video, I said, I am sure you have inventory you've already purchased that needs to be listed. I do. So what do? Go through your inventory and list your best items first. Do a little bit of research, list those good items, and as you're going through things, if you find items that have major flaws, get rid of them. Just part ways. If they're not worth donating back, put them in the trash. If they are worth donating, gather them up, start a pile, get rid of them, get them out of the house. If you have items that need to go to the dry cleaner, and I've used my dry cleaner to repair items, to do some sewing for me that I just didn't have time to do. Take them to the dry cleaner. You might be surprised. It may be worth the investment to get the items repaired or cleaned. So go through your inventory and take a hard look at what you have and try to list your best items first. And if you are still sourcing, going out and sourcing, find the best items you can. Do a little bit of research. Spend your money wisely. And then get those items listed as soon as you can. I actually take a little different approach. I admit, I do. I buy a lot of things through the summer because I shop mostly garage sales and church sales. I do not shop the thrift stores very often. I do shop consignment shops as well. And I have my inventory accumulated, and so I have slowed down tremendously on my buying. But take a look at what you have in your inventory, get it listed. I'm going to say it one more time. You can't sell it if you don't list it. I want to give a shout out to a couple people here again. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Lavender Clothesline. She has a YouTube channel, which I absolutely love. And her name is Karen, and I have learned from her to be more selective by taking a harder look at the brands of things. If something is completely unbranded, unless it's vintage and it's really cute and it's seasonal or something that I've already experienced buying and selling, it helps me, her tips have helped me walk away from things that might take a lot longer to sell, and I choose to spend my money then on something else. So check out Lavender Clothesline on YouTube. And I have another shout out. And this shout out goes to Designer Name Brand Goods and More. That's a mouthful. Designer Name Brand Goods and More. Linda, who has an eBay store, she is the one who encouraged me to get into clothing, something that I did not want to do. I think I came kicking and screaming, but I took her advice and I'm really glad I did. She has been an inspiration to me. So check these eBayers out and give them a follow. As far as my store, my eBay stores, Avante Avenue and my Poshmark and Mercari stores, I'll put links down below in the description. So let's move on. Let's talk about sales. A lot of videos, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of eBayers will tell you when things get slow, when sales are slow, run a sale. Personally, I never have any luck with sales. Sales just don't work for me. I go through my listings, I pick them out, I set up the sale, I remove my make offers so I don't get lowballed, and make sure my shipping is fine. And I put it on sale and maybe I get maybe one sale. I don't do sales. Don't do them. They just don't work. Not for me, anyway. So what I do is I have make offer, letting my buyers make an offer to me, make offer, best offer, whatever you want to call it. I have make offer on every single listing. I didn't used to do it. I experimented with, well, okay, what if I just make my prices fair and I don't have make offer and my price is so good people are going to buy it. Didn't work. Didn't work. Not very well anyway. But as soon as I added make offer and raised my prices, yes, I raised my prices, my sales started to pick up because now there was room for negotiation. The buyer and myself could hopefully arrive at a win-win, I guess you could say. So I mark my items up about $5 to $10 more than what I would expect or want to get. That gives me room for negotiation, and that far outworks a sale any day. So I highly encourage you, if you don't have them, put have it put make offer on your listings. So give that a try. So sales don't work. Why don't they work? Well, number one, if you do have make offer on all your listings and you put an item on sale, guess what happens? You're going to get some really low ball offers because the sale's just not enough. If they see make offer and they see a sale, they're going to lowball you even more. So I would take the time and remove make offer on everything and put the item on sale, and when the sale was over, I'd put the make offer back on, and it's just far too much work. So I don't do sales. Not saying they don't work for people. I just choose not to do them. The other thing I want to cover is promoted listings. Promoted listings. Been a lot of buzz about promoted listings. I'm just going to simply say this. I don't do promoted. Don't do it. Don't like it. Never liked the idea. I feel that I pay for a store and my items should be promoted anyway. And if every single seller on eBay promoted their listings, where would we be? We'd all be in the same boat we are now. Are we going to show up on page 1 or page 2 or page 3? I just never bought into it. And so I do not do promoted listings, and I think my sales have been fine and they continue to grow. And now I'm not even going to get into all the current discussion. You can search YouTube and type in promoted listings and you'll hear all the hoopla about it, but I choose not to do it. And one thing I will say is, do you want to be one of 5 or 10 on a page when someone searches something, or would you like to be one of the 200 in organic search? Organic search meaning just regular listings versus promoted. I do not do free shipping. Yes, when sales were slow months ago, I called eBay and said, what can I do? My sales are slow. Oh, do you have free shipping? Do you have free returns? Do you have promoted listings? Do you have blah, 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 blah? I tried free shipping. Didn't improve my sales. Didn't do a darn thing for me. All it did was make it more difficult to accept an offer because I had to always think about the shipping cost. So I took off free shipping and went back to charging my buyer shipping, and I added free returns. I added free returns because that does supposedly help me in eBay's search. Well, it's supposed to help me somehow. I'm not really sure how it's working, but it's supposed to help me. And free returns also helps eliminate the buyers who are buying something simply to file an item not as described or claim it's broken or claim whatever so they can keep the item and get their money back too. By having free returns, when someone starts to complain, and it happens, I simply say, hey, got free returns, return it. You know, it's easy. Just put it back in the mail. eBay will send you a label and return it. It really has eliminated a lot of stress, and I do not get false claims. Instead, I get my item back, and that's been a good thing. So guys, those are some of my tips, and I'm sure you've heard some of them before, but that's what I wanted to share with you today. So if you're having slow eBay sales, you can check out your listings and maybe tweak things here and there, change a few things up, and improve your sales. There is one more thing that I want to add, and that is diversify. I would say it was in early spring when, well, eBay made me cry. Yeah, eBay made me cry. Literally, I just about had it. I was working hard. I was listing every day. I was growing 300 items, 400 items, 500 items, etc., etc. And my sales were not good. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why did I go back to eBay? So if you keep doing the same thing over and over and you get the same results, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and say, what do I need to change? And what I changed was I stopped putting all my eggs in one basket. I took a chance and started listing on Mercari. I took a chance. Well, actually I did Poshmark first. So I took a chance and listed on Poshmark clothing. Then I started listing things on Mercari. And I tell you, if it wasn't for selling on Mercari and Poshmark, I would have a lot more days that were very slow or no sales from eBay. Last weekend, for example, if it wasn't for Mercari and Poshmark, I wouldn't have had a whole bunch of packages to take to the mail on Monday. So guys, diversify. You do have to be on top of things. You do have to, if you sell it on Mercari, you have to end it on eBay and Poshmark, etc., etc. You have to be on top of things. When a sale happens, it's like stop and get it off the other venues. So diversify, check it out. Mercari is only 10%. Poshmark is 20%. People say, oh, Poshmark is so high, it's 20%. I'm sorry, it's not really that bad when you consider eBay charges fees on the shipping, and you get PayPal fees and all the other stuff, and store fees. Store fees, listings aren't free. I consider them prepaid, not free with a store. So that's it for today. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this candid chat. Again, I am Vickie with Avante Avenue. I invite you to like, subscribe, and ring that little bell to receive notifications on future videos. I am a new YouTuber. I only have, I think this is my 9th video, maybe my 10th, and I don't have a whole lot of videos out there, so I welcome everyone to follow my channel and subscribe and share it on your social media. I appreciate any of your help that you can pass my way. And as I said, down below in the description, I'll list my stores. Feel free to check them out. I sell a lot of different things. I sell a lot of different brands. I'm not afraid to try things, especially when I get them very inexpensively at church sales and garage sales. So thanks again for watching. Vickie with Avante Avenue.